In 1803, a peculiar event took place off the eastern coast of Japan, which continues to baffle historians and scholars to this day. Known as the Utsuro-bune incident, the story involves an unusual craft that washed ashore near the village of Hariadori in the Hitachi province, and a strange woman who was found inside. Descriptions of the event, documented in various Japanese sources such as Hyoryuki Shu and Toen Shosetsu, have intrigued generations of researchers, sparking debates about the true nature of what the fishermen discovered that day. Whether it was an instance of an early maritime encounter with a foreigner, an elaborate hoax, or something else entirely, the details surrounding the incident are fascinating, mysterious, and thoroughly strange. This story remains relevant in contemporary discussions about unidentified floating objects, often drawing comparisons to modern-day accounts of UFOs and alien encounters. While such comparisons might seem far-fetched, the intricacies of the Utsuro-bune account warrant a deeper exploration to uncover what exactly happened off the Japanese coast more than 2 centuries ago. The discovery. The incident reportedly took place on February 22, 1803, when a group of local fishermen noticed an odd, round vessel drifting close to the shore. The fishermen, accustomed to seeing foreign and Japanese ships along the coast, immediately recognized that this craft was different from anything they had ever encountered. It was described as an object shaped like a large circular tub or pot, about 3.3 meters in diameter and 5.4 meters high. What particularly stood out was the fact that the vessel appeared to have windows made of glass or crystal, and the upper part was made from red lacquered wood, decorated with strange symbols and unknown writing. The lower part of the vessel was constructed from metal plates, which seemed to protect it from the sea. Fascinated by the peculiar object, the fishermen decided to tow it to shore to examine it more closely. As they approached the vessel, they discovered that it wasn't empty. Inside, they found a woman, unlike any they had seen before. She appeared to be around 18 to 20 years old, with pale skin and red hair. Her clothing was made from a material the fishermen could not identify, and her language was incomprehensible to them. While the villagers had encountered foreigners in the past, such as Portuguese and Dutch traders, the woman's appearance and language did not resemble any known culture. The interior of the vessel was equally baffling. The woman carried a small box, about 60 centimeters in length, which she clung to protectively and refused to let go of under any circumstances. The Utsuro-bune also contained a few provisions, such as food and water, suggesting that she had been on a journey of some kind. However, no maps, navigational tools, or indicators of her origin were found within the craft. Descriptions of the vessel. The fishermen's detailed descriptions of the Utsuro-bune are preserved in a number of Edo period texts. The name itself means hollow boat, a reference to the boat's strange, rounded structure. In many ways, it bore a closer resemblance to a barrel than to a traditional boat. The object's size and design were wholly unfamiliar to the coastal villagers. It had no visible sail or means of propulsion, yet it had floated safely to the shore without capsizing. The top of the vessel was a dome, which some accounts describe as being made of glass, making it semi-transparent, while other parts of the structure were sealed tightly. The writing or symbols on the exterior added to the overall sense of mystery. The language was unlike Japanese, Chinese, or any of the languages known to the villagers, and it bore no resemblance to the European scripts the Japanese had come into contact with through traders. The ornate decoration on the vessel, combined with its advanced construction, suggested it was not an ordinary ship or fishing vessel. It's important to note that Japan, during this period, was largely closed to foreign influence due to the Tokugawa shogunate's policy of Sakoku, a national isolationist policy that restricted contact with outside nations. Foreign vessels were a rare sight, and the strict cultural and political boundaries heightened the villagers' confusion regarding the woman and her craft. The woman in the Utsuro-bune. Equally puzzling as the vessel was the woman who came with it. Descriptions of her in the various texts emphasize her otherworldly appearance. She was said to be beautiful, with pale skin and striking red or auburn hair, which was either artificially lightened or naturally exotic in color. Her eyes were noted to be of an unusual hue as well, though historical records do not provide a consensus on the exact color. Her clothes were made of materials that the villagers had never seen before, further distinguishing her from anyone familiar to them. Most curious of all was the fact that the woman was clutching a small square box, which she held with intense protectiveness. She refused to let anyone touch or even approach the box, and the contents of it were never revealed. The woman's behavior, combined with the mysterious nature of her craft and the box, has fueled numerous theories over the centuries about who she was and where she came from. Was she a castaway from a foreign land, or perhaps even a survivor of a shipwreck who had found herself stranded in Japan? Or was her appearance indicative of something even stranger, perhaps a lost traveler from a place far beyond what the villagers could comprehend? The most significant element of the story, and what sets the Utsuro-bune incident apart from more mundane accounts of maritime castaways, is the fact that the woman did not speak Japanese, nor did she seem to recognize it when spoken to her. According to the records, she responded in an unknown language. The language barrier made any meaningful communication impossible, and as such, the villagers never learned where she came from, what her purpose was, or why she was adrift in this strange vessel. Possible explanations. Over the centuries, scholars and researchers have proposed several theories to explain the Utsuro-bune incident. Some believe it to be a simple case of a foreign shipwreck survivor who, due to Japan's isolationist policies, was seen as an anomaly. However, the details of the woman's appearance, the construction of the vessel, and the writing on it have made this theory problematic. European castaway. One of the most straightforward explanations is that the woman was a European castaway who had washed up on Japanese shores. The red hair and pale complexion could suggest a European origin, and it's possible that she was aboard a foreign ship that had gotten lost or wrecked. The foreign writing on the vessel could have been a European script that was unfamiliar to the Japanese villagers. However, this explanation struggles to account for the craft's unique design, as well as the mysterious box that the woman refused to part with. No known European ships of the time had a similar design to the Utsuro-bune. Russian shipwreck survivor. Another plausible theory is that the woman may have been Russian. In the early 19th century, Russia was expanding its influence in the Pacific, and Russian ships occasionally sailed near Japanese waters. However, much like the European theory, this explanation has its limitations. There are no records of Russian ships being in the area at the time, and once again, the peculiar design of the vessel complicates this explanation. Additionally, while Russian traders and diplomats had sporadic contact with Japan, their presence was rare, and it's unclear why a Russian castaway would have been drifting in such an unusual craft. Mythological or allegorical interpretation. Some scholars suggest that the Utsuro-bune story may not be a literal account of a historical event, but rather a form of allegory or mythology. In this interpretation, the woman and her craft might represent something symbolic, perhaps related to folklore or spiritual beliefs. In Japanese folklore, the sea is often associated with otherworldly realms, and there are numerous stories of strange visitors from beneath the waves or from distant lands. However, the detailed nature of the descriptions and the fact that multiple independent sources reference the event make it harder to dismiss the incident as purely fictional. Early UFO theory. Perhaps the most sensational theory to arise in modern times is the suggestion that the Utsuro-bune incident represents an early encounter with an extraterrestrial being. Proponents of this theory point to the unusual design of the vessel, the strange writing on its exterior, and the mysterious behavior of the woman as evidence of something beyond a typical maritime incident. This interpretation likens the strange vessel to modern-day UFO sightings, with the woman being seen as a potential extraterrestrial visitor. While this theory may seem outlandish to some, it has gained traction among certain circles of UFO researchers who believe that the incident is part of a larger pattern of encounters with unidentified craft throughout history. It's important to note, however, that this theory lacks any solid evidence, and it relies heavily on speculation and the reinterpretation of historical records through a modern lens. Japanese political or social commentary. Another theory is that the Utsuro-bune story might have been a form of commentary or metaphor for Japan's foreign policy at the time. The incident occurred during the Edo period, a time when Japan was under strict isolationist policies. Foreigners were often viewed with suspicion or outright hostility, and the appearance of the strange woman in her equally strange vessel could have been a symbolic representation of the anxiety surrounding foreign influence. In this interpretation, the mysterious box the woman guarded so carefully might symbolize the unknown and potentially dangerous consequences of foreign contact. What happened to the woman? The Utsuro-bune story ends as strangely as it begins. After bringing the woman ashore, the villagers, unsettled by her presence and unsure of what to do, consulted with their local authorities. The officials, equally baffled by the situation, eventually decided that the woman and her craft should be returned to the sea. They placed her back in the vessel and pushed the vessel out into the water, where it drifted away. No further reports of her or the vessel were ever recorded, leaving the woman's ultimate fate unknown. This abrupt and seemingly unsatisfying conclusion only deepens the sense of intrigue surrounding the event. Why did the officials decide to send the woman away instead of trying to help her? Did they fear she was cursed? Or did they simply want to avoid the complications of dealing with a foreigner during a time of isolationist policies? Whatever the reasoning, the decision ensured that the true nature of the incident would remain unresolved. Conclusion. The Utsuro-bune incident of 1803 continues to be one of the most perplexing stories in Japanese history. The strange craft, the mysterious woman, and the undecipherable writing on the vessel have captured the imaginations of scholars, researchers, and paranormal enthusiasts alike. While theories abound, ranging from plausible explanations of a foreign castaway to the more extraordinary possibilities of extraterrestrial contact, none have definitively answered the question of what really happened off the coast of Japan that day. As with many historical mysteries, the lack of concrete evidence leaves room for speculation, but it also ensures that the story will continue to fascinate future generations. Whether it was a misunderstood encounter with a foreigner, a reflection of Japan's political climate, or something far more extraordinary, the legacy of the Utsuro-bune incident endures as a testament to the human fascination with the unknown. Thank you for spending time with us through Spookscope today. Feel free to share your knowledge and wisdom in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends and family. Until next time, my dear spooker, stay curious,